You're going down a path I can't follow.
The year is 1989, and a young Dave is watching TV with his dad. It's February, and guess what we're watching? The Great American Race. That's right, the Daytona 500, and it just so happened to be our favorite person that got to race is Darrel Waltrip.
Darrel Waltrip, he's done it.
I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Darrel was coming all through the 80s. He was just peak Darrel Waltrip. They called him Jaws for a reason. His mouth just went like this. But he was entertaining. He was fun, and it was something NASCAR needed. You know, NASCAR was from the late 70s in. You had, you know, your Richard Pettys and stuff, but they weren't big personalities. And Darrel got in there and started running his old mouth, and it was a lot of fun. And my dad grew to like him, and we watched him racing from, you know, the Pepsi cars that he raced into the Budweiser cars, and then to the classic Tide cars, which is still probably my favorite era of NASCARs. I love that, the Monte Carlos, the Thunderbirds, all about it was great. You know, getting to see Bill Elliott break the track record at Talladega was a big deal for us, man. We loved racing, and it's kind of what brought me into the sport and really loved it. Me and my dad, we've all through the 90s, we bonded over this and had a great time. And in the early 2000s, you know what, Earnhardt, I watched the race. I was watching that when Earnhardt passed away. Kind of freaked me out a little bit that I watched somebody on live TV get killed. And then, you know, to the mid 2000s, your Jimmy Johnsons and stuff. And then NASCAR just decided, hey, we want to be football. Well, I lost a lot of interest in that, and it's never came back. And it's sad because I remember watching Jeff Gordon's and you know, all these guys, your Terry Labonte's, all these guys that were just fun, all kinds of different personalities. And now NASCAR's shaped everybody into one personality, and it's just boring to me. News came out, and this had been out for a while, and I seen it pop across Auto News, and I thought, hell, let's talk about this just a little bit. And it's this right here: NASCAR going electric. You know, this is a weird one to me because, for one, I guess I don't understand how it's going to work. You know, what are you going to get? 25 laps and that's it? You know, I know there's Formula E out there, but it's never really caught on. And I from following my days of following Nissan's real big into Formula E. But seeing this, and they're trying to, you know, this is supposed to be a SUV. Now, that doesn't look anything like the Chevrolet SUV it's supposed to represent. And here, let's just blow this up bigger, because I know you guys are interested in this. So this, let's go into the headline of this: is NASCAR bolsters EV chargers at Daytona Beach headquarters. Of course, there is, you know, the legendary Daytona track. One day I will actually see this track. I've seen Charlotte, I've seen a bunch of the other tracks, but I never got to see Daytona, and I don't know that I will right now, because this is just, you know, before we even get an article, the idea of EV is just not fun for competitive racing. You know, we've talked about in the past that NASCAR has watered down what racing is, and, you know, I just said a minute ago, there's no personalities anymore, and this is what you're about to get with the race car, is nothing with personalities. So, you know, maybe it brings it down to the ultimate driver, but, you know, to me, it's never been really about the drivers. It's more about the manufacturers. And I was talking about Darrel Waltrip earlier, and I was a Darrel Waltrip fan, and he drove Chevrolet. And then towards the end of it, he did the Kmart. He was in the Ford, but I was a Chevrolet guy at the time, man. I was a GM household, and we rooted for the Chevrolet teams always. And so the idea that we're going to water this down into where it's basically, you know, remember the little stock cars that you had the little trigger and you ran around the track? I feel like that's what we're about to get into, but this comes to us, and I will put a link into the down below. Sometimes you can read these. I pay for Auto News. Sometimes you can read it, sometimes you can't. But NASCAR is bringing electrification and sustainability efforts closer to home in its front door. In fact, the stock car series, known for thunderous roars of V8 engines, has added a new batch of electric vehicle chargers to its headquarters in Daytona Beach, Florida. NASCAR partnered with Florida Light and Power Company and Swiss industrial group ABB for the project, which includes 30 new level 2 chargers. And once again, I don't want to dig too deep in this, but I'm curious where you guys are at with, like, the idea of EV racing. Yes, I understand that, you know, stock cars, they're putting out a lot of CO2, stuff like that. I know they're trying to find a way to survive. And of course, NASCAR for the past 20 years has just ruined itself in general. And I think once they go down this path, and then, you know, you're going to try to put your big names in these cars, I just don't see it working, and I don't see how it's going to work. You know, part of it is the 500-mile race. Guess what? It was a survival. Who could survive 500 miles? And now we do these goofy timeout things, and you know, we're trying to have a playoff at the end, which is just dumb as shit to me. But I am curious how this is going to work for electrification in NASCAR, and I'm curious what you guys actually think about this. But you gotta comment. You gotta let me know, and you gotta like and subscribe to these videos as well, because I try to do different takes from time to time. And you know, this one here is a little bit goofy to me. But will you guys watch NASCAR electrified? I don't. I don't watch NASCAR now because it's just, once again, like I've reiterated, just bland, boring. And if I want to watch football, I watch football. If I want something long and boring, I'm going to watch baseball. If I want to see people crash, I want to watch NASCAR in a electric. It doesn't seem to work that for me. Can you imagine one of these electric cars too going into the stands? You know, we've seen it before. Cars going through the wires a little bit, and these things are heavier, and well, damn, get a lot of people killed. So in the comments below, let me know what you think about this. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these EV race cars that I'm never going to watch drive ever, I can guarantee you that. This has been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.